Hello again and welcome to the Memoir channel. My name is Nikki Smart and today I'm going to be speaking with Ciera Rogers about her memoir that hasn't even been released yet, called The Outsider Advantage, because you don't need to fit in to win. And Ciera wrote this memoir because she's had a pretty remarkable journey. When she was young, she spent a bit of time living in a car with her mom and her sister in abject poverty and managed to go from that to building herself a fashion empire called Babes. I must admit, I cried several times while reading her memoir because it really resonated with me. It's very empowering, and she is a wise young lady. So I'm looking forward to speaking with Ciera. And also, please, if you would be so kind, please subscribe to my channel because it absolutely helps me and it helps the authors that I interview as well. So thank you so much. Hi, Ciera, and welcome to the Memoir channel.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. I say, I want to give you like a million high fives, like boom, 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 because I'm so impressed, not just with your journey, but also with your memoir, because it's so generous-hearted. Like I just feel you cheering for people, like wanting them to do well.
Yes,
It's
definitely.
very
Yeah,
empowering.
thank you so much. That's so happy. I'm so happy to hear that it resonated with you.
Absolutely. So what made you decide to write it?
I initially started with just a business book. It was just a business book with tips because those are some of my favorite types of books. I like give me tips or give me cheat codes to life and I will take it. But throughout it, sharing my story with each tidbit, it just felt a little more inspiring and that it would reach a lot more people. So it became what it is now, a business memoir. And I'm really, really proud of it.
Yeah, no, you should be. And I mean, I love that you did the affirmations in each chapter.
Thank you.
And the first one was, I have untapped power,
Mm-hmm.
which,
Yes, definitely. I didn't know that I had untapped power in the beginning. So it's interesting because the skills that I used to launch my business, I kind of had all along from childhood, and I just didn't really see it that way.
right. But I mean, I feel like you've done a lot of introspection, a lot of self-examination in order to get where you are.
Oh yeah, definitely. It it took a while. It took a while to embrace what made me different because I was always so embarrassed about it as a kid.
Hmm.
As growing up as a poor kid, that's one of the most embarrassing things. Like going to school and realizing that your life looks different from other kids' life. It's very you're not standing on that yeah. You're more so
Hmm.
hiding that. So I got used to hiding it, hiding my reality and pretending like it was something else. So it took a long time to kind of embrace it and show that.
Yeah, but I mean, there was something else you said. You said, oh, I loved when you said it's not what you have in your closet, it's how you use it. But I feel
Right.
like that's for your entire life. That's your mantra, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
Not just
definitely.
clothes.
Yeah, all I had when I came, because I moved from Houston to LA, and when I got here, I was still broke, and I didn't have, I didn't obviously didn't have any job opportunities, but what I did have was thrifted clothes, which I've always had around me since I was a kid. So I looked at them and I'm like, interesting. These aren't just clothes. I have inventory, right here, things I could sell. So it's not just what you have; it's how you use it for sure.
Hmm. And now Goodwill is a sponsor now, right?
Yes, so I have a partnership with Goodwill, and it's such a full circle moment because I was always in their stores as a kid, but I didn't. It's we always think that we know Goodwill does good things, but I thought of it as a store. That's just what I've known it to be, like walk in the store and get clothes. But I had
Hmm.
no I knew what they did, but I guess it wasn't on the forefront of my mind. So because of that, I have a partnership with them where I'm gonna go on the road and talk about all of the things that Goodwill does. We know that they hire people that can't get hired anywhere else, which is important. But they even do little things I didn't even know they had nursing homes. They have
Oh,
restaurants. Yeah,
I didn't know
it's
that
just
either.
what is going on here? That would have been nice to know some of this information when I was growing up and in the stores. Me and my mom and my sister could have had access to resources. We could have had a place to stay if we only reached out to the store that was in front of us. So it's good that
Wow.
I learned that now and then I can teach other people.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I mean, I like the part where you actually said you started taking advantage of resources and not to be ashamed of it and to actually realize there might be stuff out there for you right now that you can call in on, which is, yeah.
Right. We have things around us. We even have, like, I was just talking about this on another podcast. I think when you're a kid, you're used to, like, a lot of the skills that you learn, like, from being a kid or being around your parents, you kind of like push to the side, like, I'm going to go do something else.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like, your dad may own a roofing company and you're like, I don't want to do that. I want to do something completely opposite. You know what I mean? But a
Right.
lot of these things you haven't had access to, you learn from like your parents or the people around you, and you can use them later on in your adulthood, and you should.
Yeah, yeah. And oh, you know, and then you said so many lovely things. I've got a little cheat list here. Sorry, that's why I keep looking
Okay.
over here. But there
I
was
love
one.
a cheat list.
Um, I mean, you said the thing about self-love doesn't quite sound right. You said because it felt more like peeling my skin off layer by layer, exposing my raw self, and falling in love with the blood and guts underneath.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that because yeah, self-love sounds so clean and sort of easy, and it's certainly not.
It's not, because it's deeper than that. And that was the best way that I can describe like how it feels. It is self-love. I think that's the end of it. You
Hmm.
know, like you end up loving yourself, but the process is so hard because you're having to dig into all those things that you're embarrassed of, things that you may have not even ever said out loud, and really dig in, find those things about yourself. Be it, look at my body language. I'm like, find those things. And it's an uncomfortable. I unearthed a lot of things. I'm like, oh, that's why I behave this way towards men, or
Yeah,
like during dating. It may
yeah.
have like been, my relationship, things that I don't even remember. Like my sister remembers things that I don't, and but my body has effects to things. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? Like I'm uncomfortable in certain situations because of other things. It's not comfortable. But yeah, it's definitely what I wrote. Yeah,
But
that's how it
it's
feels.
huge that you recognize it because a lot of people
Yes.
have that uncomfortableness and they don't know what it is and they don't explore it and they don't get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, it's best to get to the bottom of it because you got to know yourself. I mean, at least know yourself. I mean, getting to know
Yeah,
other people is hard enough.
yeah. And I mean, I was saying, when I introduced you, I said that I actually cried a few
Oh.
times when I was reading it because it resonated so strongly. And the one was when you had the boyfriend who was sort of hounding you and you had to, let him know where
Mhm.
you were at all times and how you were allowing that. And, and,
Mhm.
and but then you started to really think about it. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I kind of I had such unsuccessful relationships with men that the first one that kind of was a little nice to me and that like wanted me to be his girlfriend, I accepted it. And throughout that, I ignored a lot of the things that he did because I was just so thankful to like be owned, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And someone to be like, this is my girlfriend. And I don't know, I sat with that, and yeah, learning that after. I've never done that again, but yeah, I had to realize like I accepted all of this bad treatment because I just was so thankful to be in a relationship, and that's never okay.
Right. But I mean, I love that you took it even further because you analyzed him too, and you said, his behavior was from his low self-esteem,
Yeah, this people do things because of them,
right?
usually. Like it's not
And
even about you.
but I loved,
He has.
yeah, but I loved that you saw that so clearly that it wasn't you, it was him, and you didn't even feel you needed to explain it or anything to him.
Right. Yeah, definitely. It in a moment it was much harder. Like it's easier saying like, yeah, I saw it and I left, but that's not the case. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it usually takes time and time again. I feel like in relationships, women break up with the men before they actually break up with the men. Like you break up emotionally first and you start to detach. It's like a little like journey. So it definitely
Mhm.
wasn't that quick. But once I saw it, I'm glad that I got out of it because it could have gotten much worse. Like he was an interesting fella. I'm glad that
Mhm.
didn't last.
Yeah, good. I am too. And I love the way you said, I'm not saying the world would be better off without men, but I'm not saying that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it for sure.
Now, how long did it take you to write the book?
It took, because it's grown so many times. It took 4. 4 years, 5 years. I mean, if you're writing a book or you're working with publishing, it can take a while. And we started this like kind of during COVID, so the world was like crazy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my first script scrap version, maybe like a month or so. But since then, it's changed so much and evolved so much. It took years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you, by any chance, would you be able to read us a little passage from it? Am I throwing that
Oh
on
shoot.
you?
Oh, sure. Let me see. Dang, let me see if I can get a good one now.
I would love that.
Okay. My favorite page, but the most painful page is the one with my mom.
All right,
Because
let's hear.
I feel like it's like intense. Okay. It was December 2018. My mom was outside of a hospital in Houston on the verge of passing out. So dehydrated and malnourished, her lips were cracked, her skin peeling. I was on the couch in Los Angeles, gaping at my phone in horror. Her hair was dry, her clothes didn't match, which might seem like a small thing to notice, but this was my mother, Zoe of Zoe International, the fashionista. Blood was splattered all over her nose and mouth as if she'd eaten a person. It was terrifying. She kept dabbing her nose with tissue and more blood would pour out. My sister was holding my mother's passenger side car door open, trying to convince her to get out and go inside. A nurse was standing nearby on the receiving driveway of the hospital with a wheelchair, pleading for her to come in. I couldn't breathe. Questions raced my mind. I tapped my airline app while on the phone, trying to figure out how to get my mom out of the car. I bought tickets to Houston, my body 2 steps ahead of my mind at that moment. I could hardly put 2 words together, but I knew I needed to get from LA to Houston and fast.
Mm. Oh boy.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, yeah.
I yeah, that page, it has nothing to do with business, but it's so like I have my uncle read it, I have my mom read it, I have my sister read it, and they're like, that feels exactly that's exactly what happened. I could feel, you know what I mean? Like it's so accurate that it's just, yeah,
Mm.
interesting page.
You're very close to your mom.
Yes. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just me, my mom, and my sister growing up. So it's just like seeing her in that situation is like a helplessness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Mm-hmm.
such a fixer that I'm like, I feel like I could fix anything. But when you're in the doctor, I mean, when you're in the hospital, it's a lot of things that are out of your control, which I'm uncomfortable with.
Right, right.
So yeah, it's definitely that chapter is called Teach Yourself to Tackle the Impossible. And I did. But
Yeah.
it's definitely a journey.
And is your mom okay now?
My mom is up and down. When you have a sick parent, you know what I mean. It's like it's a rocky road because my
Mm-hmm.
mom has lupus and kidney failure, so it's a journey. I mean, she's still here, thank God, but
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely been a journey.
And is she's still in Houston?
She's in LA now.
Oh, she's
We
good.
moved
So
her.
she's near you. Okay, okay,
Yeah, she's
good.
with
Much better.
yeah.
Much better. Much
Yeah,
better.
she's here with me and my sister. So yeah, we're back together. I mean, we're always together. It's just the
Yeah.
three of us in our heads.
And tell me a little bit more about the company that you've started. Well, I mean, it's been a
I
while, right?
yeah.
2012.
Yeah, so I started Babes in 2012 from the thrifted clothes. It started off with vintage. I remember when I posted my first little vintage bodysuit on Instagram and it sold out immediately. And then that's when something clicked. I was like, oh, shoot, this could be a business. Like, I like this. Like, this is something I'm already good at. These are things that are already in my closet. I would like to duplicate this over and over. So back then, there was a very wide space in the market for women with curves because there were a lot of brands that ignored like that middle part of the market. There were plus
Mm-hmm.
clothes. They were really ugly, by the way, back then. And then there were clothes for like the average size women, but they were ignoring this middle market. So we just kind of catered to that. So I sell a lot of staple pieces, just like your regular tank top or your black dress, but we range from sizes small to sometimes 6X. So it's definitely like yeah, I'm happy to still be here. I'm happy my
Yeah.
community. Yeah, so we're still rocking and yeah, that's Babes.
But I mean, I love that that you're kind of helping and empowering this market, like you said, that's kind of been ignored. And
Yeah,
it's
it's
like,
like, and that's an opportunity, you know. Like, and I know why it was ignored. It's just more expensive. It's more expensive to make clothes for bigger bodies because more
Hmm.
fabric. And the fit has to be different. Like there has to be more support. It's more work, and a lot of people didn't want to do it. I did it because it benefited me. It was a problem that I personally had, so I think
Hmm.
that worked out for me. That it was open space and it was a problem that I had, so I fixed
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. No, and I also love the part where, I mean, it was with the boyfriend, where you just suddenly realized that you needed to get away from that. And although that was so difficult for you to
Yeah,
do,
because he was taking a lot of my energy and he wasn't celebrating my wins,
right?
and he was just there like a log.
Yeah. But I love that the minute you let that go, that then Kim Kardashian floats in wearing one of your outfits. And I'm
Like
like,
literally a week later, I was like, "Oh, this is great." And I never looked back at him. I think that's what the universe opened up for me at that moment.
exactly.
Honestly, like I was like, without that distraction, and then I talk about it in the book, without him distracting me when I got that opportunity, because he probably wouldn't have celebrated that either. I was able to really dive into like, all right, so how am I going to maximize this opportunity? What should I design next? And when you have someone holding you back, like that's really, really difficult.
Right. When I was reading, I would have loved to have seen photos because of like your first outfit that you sold or anything that you're mentioning.
Uh,
Is there somewhere that I can see that or any
oh
of the
yeah.
readers?
Yeah, maybe you know what? I should post that on Babes. That's a good idea. I'm writing that down.
Because yeah, I mean, as you're reading, you're going, oh, I want to see that outfit. Where can I see
Like,
it?
see you know what? This is a great idea. This is what entrepreneurs do. I'm like, I'm stealing this idea, so I need to put the photos on the
Please
website.
do.
Just to kind of like I get what you're saying, like visually see what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Yeah, like that. But I'm definitely adding that to the site, so hopefully by
yeah.
the time this
Okay,
airs.
fantastic. Well,
Okay,
and
thank you for that idea.
you're very welcome. And now I know your book is coming out really soon. So could you tell us when that is happening and where that's happening and how people can find out? And
Yes, if you want to order, it's sold where all good books are sold, wherever you want to order, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, it doesn't matter. Or
okay,
you can go to ciararogers.com and you can find everything there. Um, it comes out officially June 18th, but it's on pre-order right now. Pre-orders are very important for authors, which
okay,
I'm
okay.
um
So
and if you want to
pre-order.
follow, yes, please. They're so important. Because the bookstore is like they decide like how important you are from pre-orders. They decide how many books they're going to order. They
Ah,
decide where they're going to place your book. All of that really matters, which I'm now learning. So now I
okay,
pre-order more because I get it. But ciararogers.com, and then follow me on Instagram, Ciera Rogers, and say hey.
okay. And are you doing some kind of a book launch in LA?
Yes, I have a launch on the 17th at Malik Books in LA, and I'm really excited. And then I have another one in Houston on the 20th at Kindred Stories, which is in my neighborhood where I grew up in
Oh,
Third Ward, Texas.
okay. Now listen, will that be on your ciararogers.com website?
Yes, you can just
So
go to the events and then both of them are there. And if you want me to come to your city, tell me and I'm coming.
okay. Okay, I love that. I love that. And what is one of your favorite memoirs?
I like my one of my favorite books is called The Business Book.
Well,
And it just
there's nothing
it's
wrong with
not
that. No, I love that
okay.
actually. I
All
love
right.
that. That's a good
It's just
answer.
it's so simple. It's just like because I'm all about like tips and skills and what can I get and how can I have a cheat code.
No
So I'm
way.
more of a business book
No,
reader.
I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because I can see in your book that you've written how you're trying to get the points across. Like these are the things you need to think about if you actually want to get somewhere.
That's the goal. It's like I'm such a private person that I know the story is important, but I'm like they need to get something out of this just in case they don't care about what I'm talking about. I
Yeah.
want you to like when you close a book, not just say, "Oh, that was a nice story." I want you to actually like be able to apply something to your life.
Yeah. No, I think you've done an excellent job because, yeah, I mean, it's very empowering.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
you've given all these like you've kind of taken like it's relationships and it's money
A
and
little bit of everything.
the other one that got me was hang on, I've got it written here was the thing you said. Even now, I get this nauseous feeling when I have to spend actual
Actual
money.
money.
So I was kind of curious about that one too, because obviously you're not poor anymore like you were,
Oh,
but that
yes, I have
but that
trauma,
feeling is
though.
still there.
Yes. I mean, in certain, I'm just like, my sister calls me cheap. She's like, Ciera, stop acting like you're like, stop forgetting, like you're past that. But I'm like, it's something about like, if I don't need to spend a lot of money on it and I can get like, you know what I mean? Like I'm gonna do it. That's just how it's interesting because two kids, the same situation, have like turned out different ways.
Uh-huh.
I hold a lot of trauma with that. I don't want to go back. So I'm like, I'm always about save, 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 security, 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 security. My sister's more of a risk taker. That's what she's got out of it. Like, whatever, we can build it all over again. Like it's fine. So yeah, it's definitely I'll spend money on certain things, but if I can get like a coupon or a deal, I'm gonna find it.
Well, I'm with you.
It's cool sometimes, but like give me a discount too. I like that as well.
But even that, I love that that you admit it and that you're vulnerable enough to share that and say, even though I'm out of it, it's still in me.
Yeah, it doesn't
Is
go any, I don't know if the trauma is going to ever go anywhere or disappear. I've been on some podcasts where they're like, this is how you heal it and it's gone. And I don't know if that actually works.
mm,
I think that it's like a wound and it can open up again sometimes, like depending on the situation. So it's important, like me knowing that, knowing, hey, this is my trigger.
right.
Like
And
going back to before.
you said something else about like what you're saying now. It's a constant reflection and reaffirming to yourself what you want to focus on
Right.
and the good things, not the bad things.
Yeah, focus on the good things. Like I came from something that was ugly, but I built something beautiful out of it. Yeah, focus on the good things and focus on the skills that I've acquired
Hmm.
since then. Although there's some triggers sometimes, I just have to realize like, hey, you're not there anymore. Remind yourself like
Right.
you're not homeless anymore.
So if you're triggered, does it take you a while to recognize, or are you pretty good at catching it pretty
Sometimes I
quick?
don't know. Triggers can be like these invisible weird things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know. I'm more so like I learned later, like I look back on it like, oh, that's why I was like tripping,
Yeah.
like that's why. So it's
Yeah.
not always like in the moment, I'm like, all right, you're tripping because of this. But sometimes it happens later and I'm like, oh, that's why you're acting that way.
Mm.
Because of that
And
trigger.
maybe you want to talk a little bit about your very first experience with going to the Spike Lee documentary it was at the W Hotel.
Yeah, I think, yeah. So I walked in, I was, of course, insecure because I was newly to LA from Houston and everyone looked different. Everyone looked like great and had all the things and the cool outfits and the things like that. And I wasn't a very confident person. So I just kind of, I felt out of place. You know what I mean? Like I was
Yeah.
like, I'm living on a couch and this is like, I don't have it together. Like I didn't know if they probably were living on couches too. Like who knows? I don't know that. You
Exactly.
never know, like, because people just show up. They don't talk about like their struggles or what they're going to. But I got really insecure in that environment. But he walked up to me. He walked up to me and my sister, and he introduced himself, and he wanted to know what I did. And I think it was because I stood out, because I looked
Hmm.
like I wasn't from there. And it's like, who is this girl? Like, what's going on here? But that was really, really exciting moment, and it taught me a lot about just standing out, and that it's a good
Mm.
thing.
Yeah. No, it's lovely. It's yeah. And I just feel like you just kind of like the universe was just going, okay, let's get you where you need to go.
Honestly, if you just
Yeah.
follow the universe, you'll be fine. I think
Yeah.
there's like blocks that come up. I try not to get too spiritual because I never know like what's going on. But it's like that's what I believe. I think that energy, universe, whatever, it's
Hmm.
gonna open up. And it's like when there's blocks, I use those as signs, like, all right, this isn't working.
Yeah.
And I've tried so many times and it's not working. Let me pivot and go like a different way and see if there's an open door. And honestly, when I got out here, that's what happened. Doors just kept opening up and I kind of went with it.
Hmm. I am. Okay, well done. Because I think
Thank you.
you must feel, I hope you feel proud. You should feel proud.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that I talk about it more than most because I'm on a book tour. So I'm able to be proud of myself every day. I'm like, all right, even if I've had like a bad day and I go on a podcast and I meet someone like you and you're like, your story really resonated to me. That makes me emotional. That makes me feel good. You know what I mean? Like that it honestly like has brought happiness that my story can resonate with anyone. So
No, yeah, I'm happy for you.
thank you. Thank
Good
you.
luck with the launch, and I hope everyone pre-order the book.
Please, please, please. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very, very welcome. And I'm just going to tell you something now, which is kind of blew me a little bit away. But I've actually had lunch with you.
Stop.
I know. So
Stop.
it was at Blair's in Eagle Rock, and it was your sister, and I think your mom was there too. Maybe it was just your sister.
Blair's
Yes,
Jacqueline.
with Jacqueline, exactly.
So cool. Oh my God. So you're friends with Jacqueline? Or
Yes.
you were just there? Okay, I
Well,
love her.
I was her neighbor at Water Village. So
Wow, that is so crazy. So you met my mom
yeah.
and you've seen, yeah,
I
you've
have
seen.
taught your mom a yoga lesson, and she was so good, and she's
Oh,
beautiful.
oh
Yeah,
my,
I know. Yeah, she's
that's so
absolutely
crazy.
lovely. She's
Oh my
lovely.
gosh, that's so,
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Anyway,
good.
I wish you the very, very best of luck. You really
Thank
deserve
you.
it.
Thank you
So
so much.
you're very welcome.
Wow.
All
Okay, thank you so
right,
much
thank
for,
you.
all right, bye.
All right, bye-bye.